Hey guys, hello everyone. We got a special guest in today, Mustafa.
A regular guest.
Yeah. Oh no, I know everyone knows you're a regular guest. I'm just saying you're special.
Special.
Like you, Igor, and we're all special.
We're special in your heart.
Yeah. Dude, I still need to get Igor on here.
I know, right? We have to get that man on and have actually a very good discussion because he's better in the legal aspect than I am because he does have a bit more background and he's more nitty gritty about the stuff. Just have more sort of a general idea over things. Like I can sort of simplify stuff. But he knows the nitty gritty stuff. If you have like some nitty gritty questions, you can answer them.
Yeah. And like for people who don't remember, like from my high school, this is Neck Igor, the guy who got people suspended for the neck thing. Like the guy is probably one of the like this guy like knows his shit when it comes to like the topics. So like that's who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today before we start, I just want to get link up Christian's website again, gamertech.ca. You use the promo code Nick, you get $25 off on any purchase you make. And we're gonna worry, and today we're gonna be talking a bit about fake weights,
Yeah.
and we're also gonna talk a bit about corruption in sports.
Oh yeah.
Because like, just to give a brief intro about the reason why I think that's thing is because my favorite sport of all time, boxing, is also the easiest one to fix.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in terms of boxing, you can't talk about boxing or combat sports without match fixing overall. We're not going to give specifics to boxing or MMA, but we're just going to talk about match fixing fixing in general.
Mm-hmm. And then there are other sports that have a
Yeah.
history as well, and many of our viewers are probably familiar with like headlines like such as FIFA or the International Cricket Council
Yeah.
coming into headlines. So we'll also sort of briefly dive into that.
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to talk about the Jeff Cavalier stuff. Like, don't worry. Like, I gotta tell you, Athlean-x is one of my favorite channels, and no
Oh
doubt
yeah.
mind that Jeff Cavalier is a strong dude. And like, my goal in life is to either talk with him or with Joe Rogan about fitness in general. But he like, I can also bet money that he does fake weights. So I just want to get your take on it in like a brief
Yeah.
explanation.
Okay, so this all started with like Greg Doucette in his video, like when he's trying to tell his fans, I'm not sucking up or, I'm not trying to pander to Athlean-x.
Yeah.
But he did point out that Athlean-x was doing a deadlift exercise, I believe.
Yeah.
And the weight that he was carrying seemed to come off the ground too easy, that is.
Yeah.
For especially if it's, I think it was 4 or 5 plates. Do you recall how many
Yeah,
plates?
it was I think he was mentioning it was like 450.
450. That's a lot of weight, even for a strong person. That would take some effort to deadlift. That is.
Yeah, like just to give some background, like when I weighed 250, and that too of sheer muscle, like
Mm-hmm.
I was a. Do you know how strong big powerlifters are, right?
Yes.
At that weight, 450 was my max. So when a guy who looks like he weighs like 175
Yeah.
pounds, no way in hell like he can pull 450 that easily.
Absolutely. Like, keep in mind, my maximum, and I admit I've also like powerlifted for a while. I've only hit my max is 315 pounds. I weigh 200 pounds, 50
Yeah.
pounds lesser than you. My max
Yeah.
is 335 to be precise. And even then, I could do one and a half rep, that is. But it's kind of like, I don't want to get into the like me bias. But at the same time, yes, Greg Doucette had a point where the way he was lifting that weight, it seemed to come off the ground too easy. And then the second accusation that came was that Jeff Cavalier was using some form of a substance. Now, Jeff Cavalier posted a response to his YouTube video, which I actually have a screenshot of. I'll actually read Athlean-x's response to Greg Doucette. Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Okay, there are my screenshots. Okay, where are you, Athlean-x? Keep in mind, I saw this a while ago too. Okay, so Athlean-x, as I quote, "Hi, Greg. As a rule, I don't spend my time focusing on those who attempt to gain my attention. I also respectfully stay out of negativity. That often turns YouTube fitness into a sideshow rather than a platform to help and inspire others. That said, you've levied some serious allegations here. I'm inviting you down. Take whatever drug test you like for me to take. Don't wait. Get on a plane and come down. I will pay for your flight and your hotel. I'll even let you watch me pee in a cup if that's your thing. I'll let you bring your own videographer and chronicle the whole thing, as you can upload it to your own channel and get the views. That said, everyone should have some skin in the game. Don't worry, I'm not asking for your life as in your gun to the head scenario. What I'm asking for is that if I pass your test, that you do the responsible thing for making allegations like this and shut your channel down. If I fail, then I will do one better. I will also shut my channel down and give you $1 million of the supposed $10 million a year I make, and I will be awaiting your response. I just need to know, what airline do you prefer?" So Jeff Cavalier getting, very, very defensive, right?
Yeah.
Like but however, the allegation he doesn't address is the fake weights. If you notice one thing, he only addresses the substance issues, but he never addresses the fake weights. Greg Doucette's response to this in a following video, which also will send it a link to our audience members, is the fact that when he said that was it's COVID-19, so he can't really take a flight because everything is shut down. So that's not very possible. The second thing he did address was the fact that the elephant in the room wasn't addressed. The fact that the only basically it's the weight status. The weights were never addressed, and and the way he lifts that, he said that there's a chance that Jeff Cavalier takes substances and keep in mind that from my perspective, this isn't the first time Jeff Cavalier has done something, again, only in my opinion, questionable, that is. Remember when he did the video for Amir Khan?
Yeah.
When Amir Khan did his Amir Khan, or Amir Khan, as you guys want to call him, basically did this 6-month transformation. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm just
Okay,
listening.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So it just said internet connection. Okay. But yes, so it was a 6-month transformation. Sure, Jeff Cavalier said that Amir Khan was used to working out, but keep in mind that transformation was phenomenal. So another YouTuber, I think it's called More Plates, something like that. He addresses the fact that Jeff Cavalier seems a bit delusional in this aspect, because Amir Khan, that transformation at that particular age is too drastic. And sure, he put in the effort. Jeff Cavalier now acknowledges that there is the effort that was put. So sure, you will have substance abuse, but should be the effort as well. But with Amir Khan, he's, for his role, he did it very drastically, from fat and kind of like very wobbly to like jacked and ripped at the same time. And there's a rule that you don't get jacked, bigger, and ripped very fast, because you have to do like two like separate things at the same. I know there's a rule that you can't get strong, like because he was also doing strong lifts as well. So it's like you can't get strong, big, but like get some vascularity or cut. So you can only get 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3 or something like that. I'm not very familiar with that rule. It was something that was mentioned by what do you call it? Filion, another YouTuber that Greg Doucette also addressed. But Filion also addressed the rivalry between Greg Doucette and Athlean-x, and also Simon Miller from What Culture, who has his own separate channel. He also talked about the rivalry, and he tried to bring a positive light. He stated that each of them has like their own good strategies. Like Jeff Cavalier, Athlean-x, has some very good tips. He has some very good workout tips. Like he takes it from a perspective of a doctor, that is. And Greg Doucette, because he's been an athlete, he has taken substances. He knows, he's done both natural and non-natural competitions. So he is aware of, the nitty-gritty stuff, the darker side of things. So, each of them has a treasure of knowledge about the world of fitness and the concept of fitness status.
Yeah.
So each of them, we're not saying that, completely shun them down, but also recognize that if Athlean-x has numerous times stated that, you should put your ego out of the what do you call it? Out of the gym, or you should leave your ego at the door, right? But this seems more like an ego thing if, you're just lifting a lot of weight and just for display. If it was for just instruction, it's kind of deceiving at the same time. If it were done just for demonstration purposes, that's okay. Heck, you could have even used one plate. That's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to admit that you're super strong, but you're in amazing shape. You don't have nothing to prove. So you don't have to use fake weights. Like he is at the stage of his career. He doesn't even need to, but somehow his ego is still affecting, somewhat affecting. Like it's kind of like you're not practicing what you're preaching. That is. It's a concept called like creds, where if someone preaches to you, for example, but they're doing exactly the opposite of what they're preaching, you would get a little suspicious, and you would then start saying, this person is losing a little bit of credibility. So I think that's where Athlean-x has sort of become a victim of something like this, that he's sort of, it's kind of like the credibility is kind of slightly hindered, but that doesn't mean that all his tips are, useless. It just could affect future, our future judgment of it. However, he still has some amazing tips. He still has, some incredible workouts. Heck, you don't even have to buy one of his programs. Yeah, you just even watch his YouTube videos, and you get a wealth of knowledge as well.
Yeah,
so
even that
that's
video. The reason why I there is an issue about him lifting fake weights and stuff, but that demonstration of how deadlift was still a good demonstration. The only issue in that
it was still a good demonstration.
Yeah, the only issue in that is for the professionals just saying, oh, it's like measuring, it's basically putting out the dicks on the table and measuring how big it is at this point. The actual movement was a perfect deadlift. The only thing that Greg is saying is that at the weight that you're doing it, that you're not going to get that perfect motion.
Yes.
So that's the only thing that Greg was pointing out at that point for Athlean-x. He wasn't attacking the form. He wasn't attacking anything else.
Yeah.
The actual demonstration, if you want to learn how to deadlift, that video was absolutely perfect.
And keep in mind, Greg Doucette is the type of person who will call you out if you are doing something that's deceiving to your audience, that is. And I have seen his videos. I followed him for some time. He has called out people who say that, oh, you will lose 1,000 calories in this workout. And he called BS or bullshit to that particular YouTuber. There's even a video on that. He said that you can max burn like 200 to 400 calories with high intensity interval training. You cannot burn 1,000. That's impossible. So he addresses like the nitty gritty, like the realistic approach that is like, it's like, do not deceive your audience. That is like, also the way he also kind of debunked Filion in the most hilarious way possible. I could be wrong, but I'm interpreting it this way. When Filion stated that, at the highest level, you have to be in some form of enhancement drug, Greg Doucette stated that not necessarily. You don't have to. That is, you don't have to be on those. Like he said, I've competed in those, in the highest level. Like, you don't have to take what do you call it, substances to boost your performance. You just need to reach your maximum potential. However, he also addressed the fact that there are also other sports that don't require substances, period, because shooting is counted as an athletic sport. Race car driving is counted as an athletic sport. I don't see somebody using steroids in those sports. So that's a very, like, again,
well, in race car driving, like, you're not gonna have
exactly
steroids on the actual driver, but you're gonna start, like, your dimensions of the car might be bigger. Like,
exactly.
don't even get me started on race car driving, but like,
but keep in mind, you don't need steroids for race car driving. That's the point is that, and the fact that it's a very funny way, but it's kind of like, that's a very realistic way to approach things. Like, he's very nitty gritty about the realism of things. So this is where the issue comes out with. And like the verdict stands that Athlean-x, Jeff Cavalier, did not address the fake weight issue. But if he does eventually address the issue, I think people will respect him for that. Like, I think if he says that, hey, it was for demonstration, it was, I apologize, we'll forget about it. Then we'll just say, okay, because there have been far worse culprits. Brad Castleberry, the biggest king of fake weights. And keep in mind, Brad Castleberry is a strong guy. He's jacked, he's ripped, he's in amazing shape. But what he portrays,
I wouldn't say that, considering how much fake weights he's got. I'm pretty sure that's all silicone in his calves and back.
But keep in mind, I think there was a call out by which was the famous lifter who was calling him out and during an exhibition.
I don't remember, actually. One sec, I'll search it up.
Oh yeah, just very quickly search it up. Like, there was that call out, that is, and Brad Castleberry like kind of distanced himself from
Heath Evans.
Yes, Heath Evans was, I think was calling him out, and Brad is like, constantly. It looked like he was chickening out. Basically, it did look like he was chickening out. And he wanted to bring in his own weights, and I think that is a lot of people have analyzed that scenario, and they've realized that Heath Evans has been very clever and kind of exposed him in a way, but without being rude to his face.
Yeah.
So that is a perfect way to, like, if you want to expose somebody, like, you can do it politely. You don't have to be super, like, violent too, right? Because we're all gentlemen here. But yeah, Brad Castleberry, he does these competitions like bodybuilder versus swimmer race, and we're like, okay, it's just one round. Like, swimming is a very completely different sport. So it kind of goes to show that it's kind of catered to make him look good, that is. And Brad Castleberry he's practically famous for being the one using fake weights.
Yeah, like him. And like, the thing with fake weights for me is like the only time you should be using fake weights is when there's a lady you want to impress at the gym, like add a few extra fake weights there and like look all macho. But like if you're a guy, like another guy's too focused on like his lats than looking at you lifting 305. Like no one cares if you're lifting 135 or like 305 in the gym. If, like guys
Yeah.
at least. Like we're
Yeah.
too worried about like how swole our own lats are than your
Yeah.
bench.
Yeah. I keep in mind, like, I would justify it. Like, yeah, I wouldn't even like try to impress like a potential partner, which is male or female, that is, because like I wouldn't try to impress them because hey, like I don't like I want to work out for myself, that is, so I wouldn't try to impress somebody. But yeah, in a comedic way, you can kind of say that. But keep in mind, like the what I would use is more if it's just for demonstration, that is, and give what do you call a disclaimer that hey, this is not actually this way. We're just using it as a disclaimer, that is. So you would put out that disclaimer, but you're just showing how the exercise goes. But you put that disclaimer out, or you use it like something like, for example, movie scenes. For example, you kind of need fake weights for movie scene status, because when you're filming like an action movie or a bodybuilding movie, you would kind of need something that your actor would be able to lift, that is, instead of like real weight, that is, to show that it's a scene that he's just working out. So, and sometimes like we'll find actors who don't necessarily work out, they look okay, but you kind of want to show them in a scene where hey, they're just working out or trying introducing themselves to working out. So you kind of like, you can use fake weights, that is where it's permissible. And as long as you're not deceiving anybody, here's the caveat: as long as you're not deceiving anybody and saying that, oh, I can lift this much, and you're not deceiving anybody, that should be okay. But if it's to deceive, if it's the purpose is to deceive, then yeah, you're on the wrong track. You're gonna get called out.
Oh, and Joe, another thing I wanted to mention, or like I recently saw is, holy shit, that like if I was there, I would have like slapped the uh, spotter with like attempted murder. Did you watch the guy try to break the bench press record? So the spotter accidentally forgot to put a 45-pound weight on one of the sides.
Oh
So and this was an
no!
800-pound deadlift, right? Or no, not
No!
deadlift, bench press. I mean, so guy, like the one side actually, like the heavier side actually drops out of this guy's arm because it was 45 pounds heavier. Like they had to reset, and he couldn't break the record because of the spotter.
Oh.
And I'm like, it's 800 pounds right over this guy's neck. A slight slip up could have killed him.
Yes.
Screw the record. He can do the record later. That could have killed him.
Yes.
And I'm sitting here like, dude, what the hell? Can that spotter like not count?
Yeah, it's like, you want to be careful with this stuff because slight negligence, because keep in mind, like, no, you're going to, in from the legal framework, right? Negligence is a very big crime, that is, considerable. Like, you could pay a hefty fine for something like that.
Yeah.
And not only that, and sure, it's the legal perspective, also from a moral standpoint, too. Like, negligence can cause, like, some serious damage. And, like, it could have shortened his life. Like, it could have been disastrous, that is.
Yeah, like for most people that can't, the guy like probably weighed like 300 pounds or something. So think about putting 500 pounds on your back and trying to do a push-up.
Yeah.
500.
I wouldn't even, like, I would say, like, even me attempting to do like a 300 pound, like, 315 bench, for example, right? It's kind of like if someone screws that up, then, I will tear my pectorals.
Yeah.
I would tear a pectoral muscle. And not only that, but like, I'm not a very big guy. So imagine if that happened to me, that would have screwed my entire lifting,
Yeah,
career.
like no, that got like at that moment, my forearm would have snapped in half.
Yeah.
Not even like damage my pectoral. Like if I have more weight on one side, another
Mhm.
at 800 pounds, my forearm is snapping.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you're not prepared. Because psychologically, you're expecting like the same weight all over, right? Like
Yeah.
you're all around that is, and then suddenly it's like shock, but not the right kind of shock. That
Yeah.
is. I know, sure, Arnold will say shock the muscle, but
Yeah, no, that kind of shock I'm okay with, but like the
yeah,
shock with
this is
like,
not the kind of shock you need. This is like an accident. So yeah, you want to be very careful with the weights. That is, you want to make sure they're all even. Make sure, like, this is also for all lifters who are trying to break records. Make sure everything is balanced out. Make sure everything is accounted for.
yeah,
And don't be afraid to even use the 25s and 10s sometimes. Sometimes they can be useful as well.
yeah,
Um, Even for my 335, I used 345s and 210s on each side.
yeah,
Actually, no, 210s? No, 110. My apologies, 110. Yes, so that adds up to 335 plus the bar, that is. So, you can use definitely the small weights are there because it's slower progress, that is, right? It's slower
yeah.
progress. Make sure the progress is very slow. Um, but yeah, it was definitely devastating if that happened. Um, but yeah, yeah, I think I think we were addressing something around the lines of like, uh, no, because we've covered negligence. We covered like fake weights, that
Mhm.
is. Would fake weights like come under like, would you count it under sport corruption, that is? A form of sport deception, corruption?
It might, but like what I can think of with like what corruption basically means according to
Mhm.
Interpol
Yeah,
is basically the manipulation of sporting or competitions.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, that's basically match fixing where you
match.
pay someone to lose and pay someone
Mhm.
to win, or pay someone to
Yeah.
not break a record and pay someone to
Yeah.
break record.
I think there's also something that's a new thing also called spot fixing as well. Like you fix a particular result within a time frame, that is. And this is very common in the sport cricket, that is.
Yeah,
If a lot of viewers might even be watching cricket, that is, but there have been a lot of spot fixing scandals over the past 30 years of cricket. And even as like we've had cases starting from Hansen Cronje and Muhammad Azharuddin in 1996 and Wasim Akram, to the convictions of Pakistani players Muhammad Amir, Muhammad Asif, and Salman. But you also have South African players who were also convicted, such as Herschel Gibbs. You had like Shane Warne caught up, the famous Australian player. So it was not only just like a particular like region. Most players around the world were involved with spot fixing or match fixing. That is. Um, what Very recently, Al Jazeera in 2016, I believe, they did a documentary where they addressed what do you call it, the match fixing files of Munawar being the agent of the famous mafia boss Dawood Ibrahim, or the head of D Company, that is. So Dawood Ibrahim is a very famous mafia boss. So this particular man ran the what do you call it, the betting division of the operations of this mafia conglomerate.
yeah,
So he revealed that there were a lot of games between 2010, but and practically after 2010 it increased exponentially. And he also documented evidence of fixing a different game status and how fixing occurs. um, and it kind of goes to show that like there was evidence, even ex-Interpol officers found evidence that the ICC itself, like the International Cricket Council, may have something to do with it, because their anti-corruption unit is next to useless. And
yeah,
if and there have been The one of the more the rise of T20 cricket, that is T20 cricket. So they have created like sessions. That is, in cricket, there's three formats: Test cricket, One Day, and T20. T20 being the most popular, internationally speaking. And there are three sessions. They usually like there's overs where it's like by this session the batting team will score, let's just say 50 runs, for example. In the next session, they will score 100 runs, that is like between 90 and 100, that is. So they kind of like fix particularly like that, like, you know, we have a set target and we'll want our players to reach. And they say that about 60 to 70% of games, Munawar admitted himself in the documentary. This was Al Jazeera's investigative unit actually did the documentary. They said that it showed that Munawar admitted that he's fixing 60 to 70% of the games. Now you're wondering, how are they getting away with it? Well, because they're in Dubai, which is not in any of the international jurisdictions. Dubai being part of the Emirates countries, and you know, you have they're one of those places where you can kind of get away with stuff. So you know, that's what I think, that's how they're getting away with it. But also like certain you know, what do you call it, there may be certain backing of higher officials within the ICC. So what do you think about the information that I just gave you? That
Yeah,
is,
like I think that like the actual fixing of cricket
mm-hmm.
itself is a lot harder than the fixing of
Oh no,
other sports.
it
But
turns out it's pretty easy too. It's relatively pretty easy as
yeah,
well.
like the
But
cases though that like actually come out, like that are actually listed, are
yeah,
actually pretty easy. Like
yeah,
there was
and
basically
yeah,
I
because
don't
like with
yeah,
cricket,
the specific
yeah,
case
like with
I'm looking at right now is in 2000. There's the Delhi police actually intercepted a conversation between
yes,
like
yes,
a bookie and a South African captain in Hansi
Hansik
Cronje.
Cronje, Hansik Cronje, yes,
Yeah,
and Hansik Cronje actually went to trial for this.
yeah,
I think he received like a lifetime ban or something like that, but I'm not sure. Wasim Akram, the Pakistani player,
yeah,
um, he was pardoned by the Supreme Court because those who accused him, there was plenty of evidence against him because you saw his credit card and his bank transactions regarding the fix. However, the players that were, you know, ratted him out, they took back their statement.
yeah,
And also because Pakistan's judicial system isn't the greatest. Let's face it. Like,
yeah,
there are going to be countries around the world whose judicial systems are not the most, you know, what do you call it, rigid, or you know, the most what do you call, like they're corrupt essentially, because it's, you know, and it's an unfortunate reality of the world that you have to address, and it's going to be in a lot of countries too. Um, yes, so in with cricket, what cricket players have also admitted that for them, playing cricket is like brushing their teeth in the morning. And brushing their teeth in the morning, when they say that, like they can sort of like they can underperform, and like it's, they say that underperforming is far easier than overperforming. However, with cricket, you don't even have to let the players know that the game is fixed too. Sometimes you can even tamper with the pitch, like the
yeah,
pitch itself, like the ball, like if the pitch is completely dead, they'll score higher runs. If the pitch is moving a lot with some grass on it, then there's going to be lower runs, that is. So they will most likely bet on the lower runs if it's moving a lot. So in essence, uh, sometimes even the players don't even know that the game is fixed. And you only need one or two players to fix a game.
yeah,
And spot fixing is more common than entire game fixing. Spot fixing, because keep in mind, fixing an entire game, and even with soccer too, like fixing an entire game is relatively difficult, but fixing a spot is relatively easy.
yeah.
And with soccer, just Google FIFA, like you'll find tons and tons and tons of scenarios too.
Yeah,
Now,
like the corruption in FIFA is
hmm,
extraordinary. Like I remember Jack Warner.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, that guy was a sleazebag. So I remember him and John Oliver got into a match, into a fight,
Oh my
and this guy started like threatening John Oliver, and like he pulls out like an article basically talking about like a bunch of stuff, and it turns out
God.
that article was actually from the Onion. So
Wow.
this guy was using an Onion article to defend himself.
Oh my God.
And then Jack, and like the actual threat video was so high production that the guy put like background music to hype himself up and everything. I'll put the link to that video. And then John Oliver was like, puts the same music, and then he's like, what's the, and then at the end he's like, do you know what's better than your video with badass music? My, to do the same thing except with fire. And then he like shoots out fire from the side of his desk and stuff. And they have like John Oliver's like, yeah, let's have a pissing contest. And then he bought like a screen time on the Trinidadian TV to threaten Jack Warner again.
Wow. Wow. And I think like you with remember keep in mind like there have been even cases with baseball as well. Like
Yeah,
baseball, there was like have been cases with baseball. I know professional wrestling initially started as what do you call it, like relatively catch as can wrestling or real wrestling, but like with a predetermined outcome. But it eventually evolved into a sport because they started adding elements of the circus status,
yeah.
such as circus strongman, acrobats. So you involve and wrestlers as well as what do you call it, like even the small guys like the midgets and the freaks, the freak show status. So you kind of had a big freak show um, that you and they kind of they still protected what they called kayfabe. That is, so it had the audience guessing. So today, professional wrestling keeps the audience guessing, and how it's kind of like magic, basically. It's
Yeah.
like it's not real, but you kind of figure out, how did this magician do this trick? And same thing with pro wrestling now. It has embraced the fact that it is a predetermined outcome, and it has done wonders. Look at WWE right now,
Yeah.
like a multi-billion-dollar company in the stock market, the New York Stock Exchange, and they made some crazy revenue over the years. So when they embraced and when Vince McMahon embraced the fact that this is sports entertainment, we're not a sport, but we're sports entertainment.
Yeah.
So embracing that actually did wonders for their business. And now we remember the quote unquote, we like to shame them for being fake fighters, but we remember them more. We remember Hulk Hogan and John Cena and Undertaker more than we remember, let's just say, Conor McGregor. Because
Conor McGregor.
yeah, like Conor McGregor, and again, Conor is and I'm being generous because like even Ronda Rousey tried with pro wrestling. Remember we did that talk, and it
Yeah.
just it did not end well. That she shat all over like pro wrestling, and it just pissed off the community. Never again will we relive through that nightmare of Ronda Rousey tantrum status. We're gonna go with Ronda Rousey tantrums.
But
But
like the
yeah, like it
funniest
was
thing of
just
match
uh,
fixing that I
it,
ever seen is with the Floyd
yeah,
Mayweather and Tenson match when they went to Japan for like a fight.
that was fixed. That was fixed.
No, they accuse it of being fixed because like there's like no evidence that it was
Uh
fixed,
huh.
but like it like
Yeah, yeah,
every single boxing like guide like pundit out there claims it's
yeah,
fixed
yeah, yeah.
because like you don't take a
Uh-huh.
match like that and how Floyd dancing in the middle of the ring in rounds, then all of a sudden not like then have like a little bit of fun manhandling Tenson,
Mhm.
then knocking him out.
Yeah,
Like in the two and a half
and
minutes that
I
you see
wanted to ask
Tenson,
you.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the 2.5 minutes that
And
you
I
see
wanted to
like
ask you, like,
Tenson was actually like fighting, but then like takes a dive. So I like a
oh,
lot of pundits actually think that it was fixed.
interesting. Interesting that you bring up boxing too, because when you said boxing is easy, now explain to like I want to ask you now because I'm not a follower of boxing, but I know of boxing. But I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, how are fights fixed in boxing?
So you basically pay one guy at a
Mm-hmm.
certain round, take a shot, and land on the ground. Don't get back up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
So that's how you fix it. But
So the
wouldn't that
other guy
result in a knockout?
that would result in a knockout.
Hmm.
So the win would go to the other guy, and then the loser would get take. So if the loser loses, he gets $50,000, and the winner would get like 10 million. Let's say, like rough figures, right? Like Floyd and Conor McGregor, they were dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars at that point, right? So let's say like same amount of money, like so let's cut it down to like 1 million for the winner and like 100,000 for the fighter or the
For
loser.
fighter who took the hit. Yeah.
Yeah, so they would say we'll give you 50 grand on top of that from the $1 million, and then all you have to do is round four. He like the guy has a strategy of like has a movement 1-2 uppercut as a special combo. You weave and walk into that. Drop
Yeah.
your hands and walk into that uppercut,
Huh.
and then he gets 50 grand more on that from the $1 million win.
Wow.
The other fighter doesn't even know that this guy took a hit or took a dive.
Basically, the winner of the fight isn't even aware
Yeah,
that this is fixed.
yeah.
Um.
Most of the
I
times
know.
they know because like
Uh-huh.
the promoter and coach and this guy are like the winner are nice and chummy, and they always get like a share in the cuts and everything. But
Yeah.
sometimes like the promoter or the coach or whatever can even do it without the fighters even knowing.
They even addressed this even in the Rocky films too, like where Rocky fought like two or three setups or something like that, and I think then when he reached like I think was it Clubber Lang, that is
Yeah,
Clubber Lang, he was fighting, and Clubber Lang was like, oh, he's fighting setups, and then Rocky finds out later that he was fighting weaker fighters, that is. And then Rocky also eventually loses to Clubber Lang and then wins that. And it's pretty dramatic, that is, wins back.
yeah,
It's a pretty dramatic movie. Great movie, personally speaking. I really enjoyed the movie, but Rocky films are not representative of boxing. I will tell you this.
yeah.
Rocky
Like
films are not representative of boxing, period.
anyone who's been like, first of all, like now that you got me started on the Rocky movies, first of all, how the hell does a roided up 300-pound guy fight? Or like, what does UN Drago weigh? Like, the guy probably weighs like what 250, 275 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell does a heavyweight fight someone that's barely a welterweight? Like Rocky
Mm-hmm.
was 175. That's welterweight, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah.
and like, how the hell does that matchup come up? I want to find the corruption in the athletic commission that organized that fight. Second of
Yeah.
all, anyone who's taken a hit on the face knows that Rocky should not only be dead, the guy after Rocky dies and reincarnates, that guy should also die, considering
Yeah.
how many face blows that Rocky got in all his fights.
Mhm. Yeah. Like I know Rocky was based off of like the boxer Rocky Marciano,
Yeah,
correct? The
yeah,
legend. But like it was, I know Rocky Marciano was known to take hits, that is, like be able to, but I think they exaggerated it in the movie. That's what I personally feel. What do you think?
I think so, most definitely, because
Yeah.
but like the thing is with that, like most of boxing cases aren't
Mhm.
actually able to be proven because like betting is legal. So there's always loopholes on how you can match fix. And most of the times
Mhm.
that they're fixed, it's usually done by the mob. So it's like hard to find,
It's hard to, yeah, yeah, yeah.
like the people who search
Yeah,
for
it's
it
hard to
aren't
find.
alive, essentially.
Yeah, because yeah, I think it's because if the federation knows, then it happens basically, and I think this happens with the knowledge of the federation.
Yeah.
And if the federation wanted, they could have put a stop to this. That is. I think it presents a similar scenario to me as cricket and FIFA. If the federation really wanted, they could have just stopped all of this, but they continued because they also have a bit of a cut in this.
Yeah, like the thing with with soccer, with cricket, yeah, you're gonna get injuries, but like injuries isn't the main part of the sport.
Oh yeah,
Whereas
oh yeah.
boxing, like there's
You
many
will.
poor fighters, like even in UFC, like there's many poor fighters, like Ray Borg was
Mhm.
one for a while. Like you can't constantly give them money to take hits and then not expect them to walk out with CT.
Oh, exactly. So when you especially you can't do it on a consistent basis. That is, you can't fix a fight on a like for a boxer at least like one particular guy. He can't just like take hits on purpose so many times.
Yeah,
So many times head can handle it. Yeah.
the biggest fight that like I really hurt me was like the Muhammad Ali Sonny Liston fight.
Really.
Yeah, they like the FBI investigated it,
Mm-hmm.
and they like I don't think they found anything, but it was like I said, it's really rare that you find anything.
Mm-hmm.
And like in boxing when you investigate for like corruption, but like the fact that they investigated it
Mm-hmm.
kind of shows me that it
There was
might have happened.
there was a tip, that is that there
Yeah,
was definitely something must have, like you what you're saying is something must have happened that may have caused this suspicion.
yeah, like and like the thing with it is like it's one of the most controversial fights as well, right?
Yes, I heard. Yes.
And like the like and like the actual like the Cutman actually there like the biggest issue is that the Clay or Muhammad Ali might have temporarily gotten blinded by Liston. There's allegations of that as well.
Hmm. Do you think, like, I wanted to ask this question, this particular man, Don King.
Dude, screw Don King, man. Mike Tyson said everything I need, like I wanted to say to Don King.
Yeah, I think he called him like a slimy, sniveling reptilian capitalist, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think this is the guy who even cheated Muhammad Ali as well.
yeah. I have no respect for Don King.
Yeah, Don King is very, like, he owed him money for Rumble in the Jungle. That was a very big draw, and he owed Muhammad Ali money for that. And
Yeah,
Muhammad Ali was in, like, he's kind of like a half coma, and they made him sign like papers accepting like some settlement, and the lawyer wasn't even there.
dude. The fact that like how many people were suing this guy? Like as far as I remember, it was like Ali, Holmes, Witherspoon, Tyson, Norris. Like all these
Yeah,
guys were like suing him for like underpaying and
yeah.
all that. Yeah, like that, and that's the cases that I know of. And then
Uh-huh.
Lennox, Bird, and ESPN, all these guys were like having beef with Don King.
Oh yeah, Don King does not have a very good reputation in
Yeah,
boxing. That is, like, he's sort of like seen as like this this mafia boss or something like that.
yeah, and I have to
uh
say, like the guy has balls for like considering who he's scamming.
yeah,
Like he's literally scamming people that can take
I
his
think
life.
he's definitely been punched in the face a few times.
Yeah.
I can for sure say. I mean, even Tyson has probably like given him a one or two.
Well, I
Like, if
wouldn't say Tyson punched him because if Tyson punched him, Don
he
King
would
would
be
have
dead.
died. Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been dead. So someone definitely must have like given him a beating of his life a few times.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I can definitely see that happening. Oh man,
Dude,
this is something. This is something because we went from like fake weights, and then like we transitioned to sport corruption, and then you opened me up to this like fascinating world of like boxing fixes status
yeah, like
and how the boxing industry works.
thing is, I'm a huge fan of old school boxing.
Yeah.
Like I think from the 70s to the early 2000s was the golden age. Mind you,
Mm-hmm.
I still have a lot of respect for current heavyweights.
Yeah, heavyweights, yes.
Like Anthony Joshua, Wilder, Fury. Like
But you
even
see,
what
it's a downfall, that is, and it's the face of a
yeah,
downfall. Yeah,
yeah,
that happens.
but like these matches now are
Mm-hmm.
nowhere near as like the only guy whose match I would be willing to see is Fury.
Right.
Like Fury's an entertaining guy,
Yeah.
but Vladimir Klitschko is an amazing boxer as well. But like
Okay.
his matches were precise
Mm-hmm.
and not entertaining.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you look at older boxing with
It's
like
entertaining.
Muhammad Ali,
Yeah. And Joe
where like
Frazier, all these
Joe
guys.
Frazier and all these guys, like, and then if you look at guys like Foreman, like George Foreman, like the guy came back to boxing when he was 40 years old and won the heavyweight championship.
Yeah, no, Joe Foreman was a tough dude. Foreman was tough, and he was said to, like, there was like that, they hyped him up saying that if he could punch a ball, he would knock that ball out.
Yeah, but like Foreman, as strong as he is, his chin was unbreakable.
Yeah.
The amount of punches this guy took
Yeah.
and actually walks around and like is all there in the head shocks me.
And I think it's the fact that, like, Muhammad Ali gave him so many jabs during the Rumble on the Jungle, right?
Yeah,
Like, he was probably tiring Foreman out before he knocked him out, that is.
yeah,
And the way Ali, like, he just, like, I think like, he went around because he knew that if he went in that range, he was a goner.
yeah.
Like, it was an entertaining fight. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Rumble and Jungle is very entertaining. It's one of the biggest
Yeah.
classics in boxing.
Yeah, like the reason why I say like since Muhammad Ali is like Muhammad Ali was a philosopher in a way
Mm-hmm.
comparable to like the philosophy level of Bruce Lee, and you knew like if you look at the top boxers right now, like who's the highest paid boxer right now or has the highest paid event? Floyd Mayweather, right?
Yeah.
How does he spend it like inside the boxing ring? He's a great guy, like great boxer. Outside, like I'm not gonna diss how he spends his money, but like outside the ring, he's not putting up a fight like Muhammad
Muhammad.
Ali did, right?
Yes.
Muhammad
I
Ali
think
was a fighter inside the ring and outside the ring,
outside the
making
ring.
him a leader in his community
Oh yeah.
and
I think,
making
like,
him a leader. And then
even
when you get
even Mayweather too, like, he's not like, it's sort of like, it's all like glamour, right?
yeah,
So Mayweather's a great fighter, but like,
yeah, don't get
it's
me wrong, the guy's a monster, but
oh, there was this guy, I don't know, who was he? This person, he became famous on YouTube, and he got the shit kicked out of him by, like, professional boxers eventually, because he attacked, like, Floyd Mayweather Sr. And what's this real, like,
I don't remember.
dirtbag of a person. Like, he puts innocent people, and he's like, oh, I'm just gonna spar with you, right? And then he starts
Oh, that guy. Yeah, no, I forgot his name. But he'll be
yeah,
like, yo, let's spar, and then he'll go all out. So like he was in some MMA gym, and then like the guy like
yes, yes,
knew
yes,
what this guy was doing, so he like picks him up, like suplexes him, and does like a ground and pound, and I'm like, that's the most
yes.
satisfying thing I've ever.
Oh, that was so that. And then I think there was the professional boxer he fought. Like, what was his name?
I
Uh,
forgot.
or a professional fighter he fought too. And the
Yeah,
professional fighter, he kept running away. The other guy, like, this sleazebag kept running away, and the fighter's like, come on, come on, come on, like. And then he claimed that, oh, I won this fight. Like, this is not fair. And it's like, and he doesn't want to take punches. He's the kind of guy who doesn't want to take punches, but he wants to give the punches. Honestly, that's not fair.
Yeah.
You enter the ring. Not only do you get to beat up people, you get beaten up yourself.
Yeah,
You're
there's a
that's
thing.
the rite of passage.
Yeah, there's a thing in boxing, in any combat sport, is that
yeah,
anyone who enters the ring willing to get hit doesn't deserve to be shit talked and is a brave person.
is a brave person. Exactly. Even
Yeah.
with professional wrestling.
That's why in like any MMA gym, they're the
Yeah,
nice they're like jujitsu guys know they're gonna be choking each other to near death in 5 minutes, but they're gonna
yeah,
hug each other before the fight. And after the fight, they're gonna get each other up and they're gonna hug each other. Knowing
yeah.
like the other person deserves respect
Respect,
because
equal
he was willing to
respect.
get choked out.
Yeah. Like even with professional wrestling, we have a thing of like shake everybody's hand because, everybody is, busting their ass. Everybody's like risking their injury status. They're putting their bodies on the line. And this is not something everybody can do. Like it's, and same with MMA fighters. So MMA fighters, they are legit. You could face potential death at any moment.
Yeah.
Like one small accident and you're a goner with MMA. And that's why there is a lot of respect amongst fighters that yeah, you can't, disrespect fighter by just giving an offense, but like not taking offense. And even with professional wrestling, what they teach us is that you learn how to take the offense first. You learn that first before giving the offense. You learn how to take a body slam. You learn how to take a power bomb. You learn how to take a suplex. You learn how to take a chokehold. You learn how to take these moves, both for reals and the work versions, and then you learn to apply them yourself after you've mastered the fact that you can take this.
Yeah,
And that's
like
where they draw the line. That if you've only mastered taking it, you're a master at giving this move.
yeah, like that's one of the things like no there are sleaze bags everywhere, but
Mm-hmm.
in an MMA gym, sleaze bags don't survive.
Oh, they will not survive at all inside that gym. If you do not respect your fellow man, get out of the gym. That is.
Not even that. Like they'll be like, it's if you don't respect your fellow man, try getting out of that gym alive. Like you're literally surrounded by guys who've been training since they were little kids to
Oh
kill the other
yes.
person. Try getting out of there alive if you're a sleaze bag.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They will have your brains and your testicles for breakfast.
Yeah, like like I remember there was this one video of strong it's usually like the strongest guys who know their who know what they can do. There's a show called Be Fit or something like that with Kevin Hart.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And then like they do the strongman event, right? So you have Martins, who's actually the 2019 world's strongest man.
Yeah.
But like back then he was the fourth strongest man in America.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy and then Kevin Hart's like, I'm doing it, yelling at Martins. And then like Rhett and Link were like, dude, you're being mean to this guy. And Martins is just staying there like, hey, like laughing at Kevin Hart, just like letting it
Yeah,
all slide. But like any
yeah.
guy with like some sort of self-respect, like or any guy without the self-respect or like is squeamish would have like swung at Kevin Hart. But like someone
Oh
who knows what they can do.
yeah. I
And
think also they respect themselves enough
yeah,
that they respect themselves and they know what they can do. So like they know that this is they don't have anything to prove. That is
yeah,
like a strong man. He does not have anything to prove.
yeah. And like he even did like if you watch that video, holy shit, they were all coming. This guy like one hand deadlifts 495 pounds for them.
Ooh,
And I'm saying they're
ooh.
like, this guy just took 45 pounds more than my maximum deadlift and picks it up with one hand, holds it in the air while he's introducing himself and drops the weight.
Oh man. Oh man. Imagine how strong he must be. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh. But yeah, no, that's fascinating. This world is definitely fascinating. Um, do you have anything else that we can discuss for our viewers?
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually gonna drop a few videos coming up. One's a secret special promo,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
another is I'm actually gonna make a video about my. I'm gonna be making an IPA at home, a double IPA.
Okay.
I'm gonna film that, and I'm gonna put a video of that up.
I'll definitely be looking forward to that.
Yeah, and there's also another special 3,000, 4,000 subscriber special I'm gonna do. That's also gonna release. You're a participant of that as well, I think. Remember, but yeah.
All right, all right, all right. I'll participate. All right.
All right.
But,
So
congratulations, though. Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and thank you, Mustafa, for joining us today.
Thank you. No
Uh,
problem. Thank you. Thank you for letting me yap.
yeah, and thank you for wearing a shirt and not showing your bob like Randy.
I am a Randy for the boys and girls out there.
Hello, ma'am. Are you porn? Send pick Bob Bench.
Oh my god, that's like this is the voice of our people. We're gonna end on a comedic note that we will talk in the voice of our people. Um, please do not.
Computer.
You are all beautiful. You are all beautiful. You're all like you all must send us Bob's and Vagana. Our national anthem is Bitch Lasagna.
My dude, I still remember like my last some guy messaged some trick being like my last dying wish to see your Bob and Regine. He doesn't send it, and then he's like, "I dead now, bitch." By I still
Uh,
remember.
so keep remember, viewers, send us your Bob's and Vagine, or else we are dead.
Dude, I don't even know like how low of a game do you need to have in order to think that this would work.
um, and this is why, like, this is why we'll do a topic like this another video, like dating as South Asian, right?
Yeah,
To definitely touch on this topic now. You
I'm an
and
expert in that.
these stereotypes that are attached to dating as a South Asian male specifically. We can even get a female's input as well too, like South Asian females input. But I'll see what I can, if I
All
can
right.
get somebody's input. But if not, then yeah, we're most likely gonna, survey. We'll do our research. That is. Anyway, I think that's it for today. Then.
Yeah, that's it for today. See you guys for the next episode. I hope if you guys,
All right.
I'm a YouTuber now, so leave a like, subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.